Today we are going to be reviewing Sonic Adventures 2 Battle. Its dynamic gameplay consists of platforming, shooting, treasure hunting, go-kart racing, and even a built-in digital pet simulator. It was released in 2001 for the GameCube and Dreamcast. We're not going to spend too much time on the intro, most of you know the story, so let's go ahead and jump straight into it and get started. Dr. Eggman is back with his quest to the world. This time, he breaks into a military base to unveil his grandfather's secret weapon, which holds the tools for world domination. We have 6 characters with 3 types of gameplay, each character having a counterpart, starting off with Eggman, where we shoot things in a transformal-style robotic vehicle thing. Scoring in this case increases based on how many targets you lock in on at once. The more in a single shot, the more points. What do points do? They help give you a higher rank in the game. They have a grading system from E to A, with E being the lowest grade and A being the highest. It's not really important unless you plan to unlock the Green Hill Zone level. In that case, you need all A's in all levels. Eggman's counterpart is Tails. We'll get to him later, but the concept is the exact same. Of course, bear in mind that I have already unlocked the game and all of the power-up. Some of the skills I'm able to do in this gameplay you're seeing, you might not be able to do if it's your first time.
Yosh! Piece of cake.
We find the core of the base and are introduced to Shadow the Hedgehog, the ultimate life form created by Eggman's grandfather. Shadow's counterpart, of course, is Sonic, who again, we'll get to later, but these two make up the running and more adventurous genres of the game.
I'll be waiting for you in the central control room on the Space Colony Ark.
Now we are in the desert and are introduced to the 2 treasure hunters, who are the last counterparts we'll cover. Knuckles, who is guarding the Master Emerald, and Rouge the Bat, who is a Master Jewel Thief. But Eggman needs to give Shadow more emeralds, so in an attempt to steal the Master Emerald before Rouge does, Knuckles breaks it into multiple shards, which kind of brings up the question, what kind of weak emerald just shatters into oblivion like that? Alright, So now the 2 are looking for the shards. Rouge is in a desert oasis and Knuckles is in, well, a different part of the desert. The treasure hunting stages gives you a type of detector, if you will. The closer you are to the shard, the quicker it beeps and blips. You're allowed 3 clues given by the floating computer things, with each clue being more specific than the previous. Points are collected by finding the shards as quickly as possible, with as few clues as, possible. Now we go to the city. We see Sonic the Hedgehog has been arrested after being mistaken for Shadow because the police can't seem to decipher blue from black. Regardless, Sonic jumps from the helicopter just like Harold and Kumar in Escape from Guantanamo Bay.
Derek, can I get another water? What the fuck?
And now you must flee the city while evading law enforcement. You know those PSAs that tell you to stop for the police? Yeah, fuck that. If you see the cops, run like hell. That's what I love about these early 2000s kid games. It reminds me of that old show, World's Wildest Police videos, but most of them don't escape the city. Scoring in the running stages comes from stunts, defeating multiple enemies in one combo, and using the ring dash, which, as I had mentioned earlier, that's an unlockable ability, so if it's your first time playing, you're not gonna quite have that skill right away. Later in the day, Eggman is returning to his base with some Chaos Emeralds. That's about it. Back in the city, the police catch up to the right suspect this time, but they can't seem to overpower him. He meets with Sonic and uses Chaos Control to flee the scene, leaving Sonic by himself with the police, who finally are able to arrest him and bring him back in custody. Let's take a moment to talk about Chao World. Some of you may wonder what this blue box is. It holds a key to Chao World. What is Chao World? It's a really cool side game where basically you're raising digital pets. But really, the amount of detail included could easily make this a game on its own. Once you get the Chao key for the first time, you unlock Chao World. You start off with 1 garden, but can unlock 3. To unlock the Hero Garden, you must raise 1 Chao with a hero character, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. For the Dark Garden, of course it's their counterparts, Rouge, Eggman, and Shadow. You raise them by giving them Chaos Drives. If you feed them with a mix of Dark and Hero characters, you'll raise a neutral Chao. You have Chao Kindergarten, where you can teach Chao different skills like singing, drawing, and playing instruments, which Chao will randomly do in Chao Garden. You can also buy items from the kindergarten, such as fruit and Chao eggs if you want a new Chao. You can race your Chao or have them fight in a tournament, like a little Chao fight club if you will. To build their stamina for these events, you have to feed them those Chaos Drives, which you can get from defeating enemies. And some of you may have noticed these little animals hidden throughout the stage. That's also used to power up your Chao as well, which in some cases are also found inside of enemies. I used to spend more time in Chao War than the actual game. I would play for like 4 hours straight just raising Chao. But it's only a small portion of such a large game. So let's get back to the main story. Rouge is trying to infiltrate Eggman's secret base while talking to an unknown person. Here her more mysterious side is revealed as we ask ourselves, who is she working for? Instead of emerald pieces, you need to collect 3 keys while avoiding Eggman's surveillance robot known as the Beetle. You can avoid detection by hiding in the shadows, but honestly, it's quicker to just let the thing shoot you and then just collect your rings again. I mean, you get like infinite rings basically, since, you know, the rings just kind of spawn immediately next to you after a hit. And that's another thing. A classic Sonic mechanism, no rings means death if you're hit, except for Eggman and Tails, who have a health meter that depletes once you run out of rings. Unfortunately, Eggman is already gone. Where is he? If you remember, he's trying to get into the core of Arc to give Shadow more emeralds. Rouge overhears and offers her services as a treasure hunter to Eggman.
Great idea. How about making a deal?
So they return to Earth on Prison Island to obtain the last emerald. A bomb is placed on the island that will blow it up in 30 minutes. Eggman storms a weapon ship to distract gun agents from Shadow and Rouge, which the gun agents are basically the federal police of this game, so to speak. Of course, Sonic is also on Prison Island from his previous arrest, but is busted out by Tails and Amy. He then escapes the prison. Meanwhile, Rouge has infiltrated a secured storage unit that has 3 emeralds as the bomb continues to count down. Sonic and Shadow bump into each other yet again, and after a skirmish, both try to flee as quickly as possible with the bomb getting closer to detonation.
Here we go. Too easy for me.
Eggman blows the moon up with the Eclipse Cannon to intimidate the public into his dictatorship.
Half of the moon is gone?
And the police find the 3 suspects. Sonic distracts them while Tails tries to trace Eggman's whereabouts. Meanwhile, Knuckles is still looking for emerald pieces. Tails chases the president, hoping to trace a phone call back to Eggman. Here we unlock one more surprise genre, racing. Once you've unlocked your first racing stage, you then can unlock the free drive race mode as well outside the story gameplay. It's literally just a racing game. The controls are a bit awkward, but not nearly as bad as Sonic are, for the 7 of you who actually saw our other video on the subject. After collecting 20 rings, you can boost, but it's a bit broken. Hitting a wall or a car cancels your boost, which I understand, but half the time it's because of a glitched contact. But it is what it is, and a reminder, it's just kind of like a side thing they included. The main gameplay is absolutely smooth and absolutely great. After catching up to the president, Tails traces the signal back to Space Colony Arc. An assistant to the president mentions a signal from an unknown agent. After they return to Earth, Rouge and Shadow both chase down Tails, who are catching up to the other heroes who saw Eggman return to his base.
I saw that Batgirl go inside with...
Now the 3 try to infiltrate the base. Knuckles collects keys just like Rouge did earlier, gets trapped by a rock monster thing, destroys it, then follows Eggman back into space. Sonic and Tails tries to fool Eggman with the fake emerald, while Tails attempts to shut down the Doomsday Cannon. Rouge accesses secret documents where the password is named after Eggman's cousin. So this Gerald Robotnik guy is genius enough to make a Project Shadow Doomsday thing and a cannon powerful enough to blow up the moon, but he can't think of a less obvious password? It makes me wonder if the password to the nuclear button at the White House in real life is just simply Hunter. I used to work for Walmart, and no joke, the intercom was literally 4444.
Call me at 444-4444. You got it. There's only one number to remember, and that's 4.
If you ever read that on a Reddit forum, that was 100% real. Now, this was back in the day, and that's probably not true anymore, so I don't know what Walmart was thinking either, but I'm guessing somebody from corporate played Sonic Adventure 2 and said, "Duh, that sounds like a good idea." Knuckles and Rouge are trying to find the last pieces of the emerald in space, with Rouge's stage having an added challenge of backwards clues. It's not very creative, as they can easily be deciphered. If it's in the highest area, it's in the lowest area. If it's not next to something, it's next to something. If it's written backwards, just write it down in reverse. It's a half-ass attempt to add a more challenging element to Knuckles' counterpart Space Stage. Knuckles and Rouge duels it out. Afterwards, Knuckles saves an ungrateful Rouge from a near-death fall, to which she reluctantly gives him all the Master Shards back in return. Eggman figures out the ploy after both the real and fake emeralds give off signals in the base, so he decides to go track him down and confront him. Sonic is ejected, somehow survives, and must get to Eggman again to save his friends. Meanwhile, Rouge is confronted by Shadow and reveals herself to be working for the government, being paid in jewels. Shadow is informed of Sonic's attempted return, and Shadow chases him down. After finishing Dark and Hero stories, the credits roll and you think you've beaten the game. But then they throw in a little bit of surprise: the last story. What happened? Well, remember when Eggman placed all of those emeralds in that console thing? It overloaded Ark, causing it to shut down and fall towards Earth. Apparently, it was an intentional design by Eggman's grandfather with a vengeance towards the killing of his daughter by government officials who tried to shut down Project Shadow on Ark. Ark is now falling towards Earth, like the Majora's Mask. Now, all 6 characters must do their part to reactivate the core of Ark and send it back to space. But they have one final boss to fight: the Bio Lizard, which was the prototype of Shadow and has been hiding out on Ark ever since. After you defeat him, you save Earth, and the game is actually over this time. To try to summarize a game with such detail is almost criminal, but nonetheless, in short, its multiple styles ensures that you never get bored playing this game. But just in case, Sega went ahead and threw in a few extra stuff in there, like Chow World, kart racing, and once you think you've mastered Sonic Adventure 2, they even threw in a last story as a little bit of a cherry on top, if you will. The only complaint I have is that the unlockable level of Green Hill, and this is just my opinion, I didn't think it was that good. I've never actually properly unlocked it, but I have an Action Replay, which for those who don't know is a hacking device for the GameCube that, allows you to cheat, and I did it just for fun. But not only is it not that good, but it almost reminds me of the downhill level from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 on the N64. You have to go through a lot. You have to get all A's in all levels, and I'm not as good as playing Sonic as I am Tony Hawk. So I never actually did unlock that level, but I played it before. It's not very good, but that is my only complaint, and again, that's just a bonus feature. Everything that's part of the main gameplay couldn't be better. It's a great game, and I'm very blessed to say it was part of my childhood. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.